Alright, everyone. Alright, everybody. This is just a redo on the Clifford VHS and DVD update and Christmas Clifford Q&A with HuskyDog88. I deleted the previous stream because I accidentally left music on from my Alexa. And that music playing was Disney music playing on there, so Merry Christmas, Nate. Anyway, this is a redo on the Clifford VHS and DVD update for HuskyDog88. Yeah. Alright, now. Well, thank goodness. Thank goodness I did. And I always know what to do in case. Well, alright, so. Also, now, for the VHS and DVD update, I, got one DVD that I got on December 21st, and a VHS that I got yesterday. First, let's look at the DVD. King Clifford. And Be My Big Red Valentine. A different version of King Clifford and Be My Big Red Valentine because I have another version that I had previously before this, but in a red case. Now let's do the comparison between this and the copies with the red case. Both of them have the same front cover and everything. Both of them have the same front cover and everything, the same spine, and the same back cover. But what is different is, while this copy with the red case contains the updated disc art from 2008 with the CGI 3D rendered version of Clifford on the disc, and has updated previews from 2008. This one, on the other hand, contains the original 2003 DVD artwork, which is a squished up version of the front cover artwork, believe it or not. And this has a black case this time. And it has the Artisan and Family Home Entertainment Kids Dog and Doghouse logos intact on this copy. Now, another noticeable difference is this copy right here with the red case plays all 8 episodes on here, whereas in this one with the black case, it plays only 4 episodes at a time. And the 2003 one with the black disc, with the black case, looks like plays only 4 episodes at a time, where you can either select an option. What makes you think you like the red one better? But The downside of the red case version is that it does not have John Ritter's voice. It instead has a female's voice saying, select which story you'd like to watch, or press play all to view them all. But on the bright side, for the black case version, this does have John Ritter's voice saying, press one of these bones and go to a page where you could choose one story to watch, or you could play all of the stories. Yes, I'm keeping both versions because they are each a different version, with the discs looking a bit different. Despite that, I'm keeping both of those two copies. I'm keeping both the black copy and the red copy. Because they're each slightly different. And yesterday I got a brand new VHS release of Clifford the Big Red Dog. And here it is. Fun with Clifford. And what makes this really special about this DVD is this is a Kix what makes this really special about this VHS is that this is a Kix exclusive VHS release. How were you able to get it from PBS? I also have Here Comes Clifford. I originally had it in 2003, but then I gave it away, but I got it back later in like 2015, 2016. Oh, Pledge Drive. Now, $100! Whoa, that's a lot of money. Luckily, I got this VHS for a very low price, so it says, and would you like me to read you the description of the back cover for this? Now, it says that the VHS was released in 2000. The VHS came out, I believe, in 2001. At the same time, Here Comes Clifford and Clifford's Best Friends were released because of this Clifford logo on the front. And this one says, in this exclusive video from Kix, Clifford and his friends learn that nobody is perfect, but everybody is special. This only contains 2 episodes, Limelight, which is actually called Limelight Fright, and Special Delivery, both of which are from Season 1. And for the description of Limelight, it says, when Clifford and friends decide to put on a show, scene-stealing Cleo discovers she is stage fright. But with everyone's help, she brings down the house. And then for Special Delivery, it says, Clifford takes a package to the post office for Emily Elizabeth. When it accidentally opens, or more accurately, when Cleo opens it, Clifford is afraid to let Emily Elizabeth know, but soon learns it is better to be honest right from the start. Now, HuskyDog88. Now, HuskyDog88, what were your thoughts on these two episodes on the VHS, Limelight Fright and Special Delivery? And it also says, look for Scholastic's Clifford the Big Red Dog videos at your favorite video store. Each rental video brings 45 minutes of big fun from 4 different Clifford episodes. Collect them all. Based on the best-selling books and TV series on PBS Kids. Nate's Media Corner 2006. The John Ritter VHS releases of Clifford the Big Red Dog contain the Family Home Entertainment Kids Dog and Doghouse logo from 1999, but I believe there might be some Clifford's Fun With releases that contain the paintbrush logo on there. Now, I do have a VCR for this tape. I'm just going to put it in. I'm only going to show you the Artisan, Family Home Entertainment Kids, and Scholastic logos. Actually, Limelight Fright paired up with circus stars on TV airings. Yes, I do. I popped it in right now. And Special Delivery was paired up with a fairy tale. It says, warning, any commercial use or duplication of this copyright material without prior licensing is forbidden by federal law. Violators may be subject to civil or criminal penalties. Title 17 United States Code, Sections 501 and 506. And the feature presentation ID, the Artisan feature presentation ID, where that feature presentation letters zoom in and stuff, and then they flip to the left and disappear. Artisan Home Entertainment. Oh yes, the Family Home Entertainment Kids Dog and Doghouse logo. This takes me back to memory lane every time I have a Clifford VHS when I was very young, and that was the Scholastic logo. And now, I know Limelight Fright had the PBS Kids dot transformation logo on television airings when it was paired up with circus stars. But HuskyDog88, do you know what PBS Kids logos, I believe, appeared on the episode Special Delivery and a Fairy Tale? I think it was Dash Transformation or something like that. I know Dash Transformation appeared on Come Back Mac, Boo, To Catch a Bird, The Best Party Ever, Doing the Right Thing, and The Dog Who Cried Woof on TV airings. Fun fact, the Family Home Entertainment Kids Dog and Doghouse logo can also be seen on DVD releases of Care Bears from 2004 to 2000, of Little People from 2004, and Baby Einstein VHS and DVD releases from 2000 or 2000 and 2000 until 2002. When Disney took over. Yeah, it might have been Dash Transformation for Special Delivery. Well, believe it or not, in Esther, the Girl Who Became Queen, which was released on VHS in 2000 at the same time, Paw Grape, it says, "Have I ever steered you wrong?" Now what were your thoughts on the music in the Family Home Entertainment Kids Dog and Doghouse logo, as well as the animation and the sound of the dog barking? Now, Jason Michael originally sang the Clifford the Big Red Dog theme song from 2000. And just for that, I'm going to read you something about Jason Michael. It says, the Jason Michael story. Born in England but raised in Texas, Jason Michael has been a performer since the age of 15, when his first band played at a roller skating rink in the Dallas suburbs. In 1989, Jason was only 17 when he left Texas to tour with his newly formed band called Aristea. Jason and other band members formed Ice Cold July, and they played roughly 300 shows a year in sites throughout the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Ice Cold July built a large and loyal fan base, one show at a time, and eventually earned a record deal with Relativity Records. In 1994, the band recorded an album at Willie Nelson's legendary Pedernals recording studio in Spicewood, Texas. When the popularity of traditional rock music faded in the mid-1990s, Jason began to explore new genres of music. He developed a unique singing and songwriting style that combined his rock roots with his love of folk, rhythm, and blues. In 1996, Jason teamed up with a new group of musicians to form the Roadside Poets. Known to fans as Roadside, they performed regularly in verses all over Texas. In 1997, the Roadside Poets were invited to record an album in Seattle with Rick Perisher, the producer of the albums that brought fame to Pearl Jam, Blind Melon, and Temple of the Dog. Seeking new opportunities, Jason made the move to Los Angeles in 1998 and formed a new band called Jones. The band developed an old R&B meets new funk sound Okay, what happened was, what happened was the computer accidentally turned off and then back on. That's why there was this screen right there that you saw. Anyway, what I was going to read about for Jason Michael was unlike the JP Empires, I actually can fit here. Oh, there was no update, but the computer turned on and off by mistake when I accidentally kicked the cord while I was doing that stream, causing it to turn off, and then it got turned back on. Yes, I loved it. In fact, you should do this every time you see that screen. Anyway, as I was reading about for Jason Michael was, seeking new opportunities, Jason made the move to Los Angeles in 1998 and formed a new band called Jones. The band developed an old R&B meets new funk sound that was fiercely original and irresistibly energetic. Very quickly, Jones won over the fickle LA music scene and transformed the band's initial underground popularity into critical and commercial success. In 2000, the Democratic National Convention was hosted by the city of Los Angeles, and Jones was selected by the mayor's office to play in downtown on opening day. The following year, Jones played 30 dates on the 2001 band's Warped Tour. Jones went on to perform with such acts as Maroon 5, Johnny Lang, Jeff Healey, Common Sense, Tina Marie, The Fix, and Uncle Kracker. While in LA, Jason was also hired to record the Emmy-winning theme song for Clifford the Big Red Dog, a children's cartoon series that originally aired on PBS from 2000 to 2003. Jason played the West Coast audiences until 2003, when he returned to Dallas to find his musical roots and began a new chapter in his career. Today, Jason continues to be a prolific songwriter, who is well known for engaging audiences with his powerful voice and making deeply intimate connections with others through his music. While he describes most of his own music as Americana, Jason credits a wide range of musical influences. He is well responded in the Texas music community. He frequently performs solo and with a variety of talented musicians. His experience with Clifford the Big Red Dog also inspired him to become a writer and performer of children's music. So, yeah, it turns out that Jason Michael did sing the Clifford the Big Red Dog theme from 2000 to 2003. Speaking of which, what were your thoughts on the plot for the season 3 episode, The Missing Key, HuskyDog88? Well, it's actually, the missing key is when Clifford and Emily are in double trouble because Cleo accuses Elizabeth also for taking that key. So, and then they find out that the person who stole that key was Thomas himself. And then Cleo and Jetta apologize and admit that they should have looked at the security footage before they knew what was really going on. So what did you think of that plot? Well, because he has been kicked out of his house for his bad undog-like behavior. And he takes the key so he could get back into the house without getting caught.
James, here is your reminder. Go to sleep at midnight. James, here is your reminder. Go to sleep at midnight.
Yeah, I know, Alexa. Sorry about this, folks. It was Alexa was speaking to me while I was doing the stream. Oh, no, that is actually my real name. I don't actually say my real name. I don't actually say my real name in the streams, though. I just say my nickname, FlickALova2000. Alexa, please set a reminder to tell me to wake up at 7 in the morning.
Alarm set for 7 a.m. tomorrow. By the way, you can always check the dot in the lower right of the clock display to see that an alarm is set within the next 24 hours.
Okay. Actually, Alexa, please set an alarm for tomorrow to wake me up at 9 in the morning. Alexa, please set an alarm to wake me up at 9 in the morning.
Second alarm set for 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay. So what were your thoughts on the plot for The Missing Key, as far as Clifford and Emily both being accused? So what do you think happens in that episode now that I told you about it? Anyway, this stream is going to be 2.5 hours, so... And HuskyDog88, how would you like there to be a Season 3 episode called Good Friends Don't Forget Their Friends, which is actually T-Bone and Jeffy's version of Forgive and Forget, except instead of Cleo being mad at Clifford, it's Jeffy being mad at T-Bone. Now, you want to know what's interesting about the episode, The Missing Key, as far as who would voice Jetta? Yes, Melissa Ultro would play Jetta in The Missing Key. Kath Soucie would still voice Jetta in Jiffy's Sleepover, however. And this is the only other Season 3 episode where Jetta gets into a snobby attitude. But luckily, Steven catches her in the act and tells her that her actions have major consequences and that he suggests that she gets along with not only Emily Elizabeth's friends, but also the dogs. And hey, I have a video on my want you to see real quick. I might send you a link to it. So, what do you think? And HuskyDog88, what did you think of that idea for the episode Jeffy's Sleepover? After Jeffy licks Jetta in the face, Jetta's like, "Stop it!" I've seen Finders Keepers, but I have not seen Go Fly a Kite. But there's actually a Looney Tunes short called Go Fly a Kit from, I believe, 1956-57. And also, take a look at that link I sent you. That's a very young Kath Soucie before becoming a voice actress. And says, as the Ducky voiced Becca from the 1979 TV movie The Incredible Journey of Dr. Meg Laurel. What if there was a season 4 episode called, the Birdwell Island Fire? Where T-Bone is especially afraid of those fires, kind of like when Binky was in April 9th. And as a result, Emily Elizabeth's journal accidentally burns down. The one from the episode Jetta's Sneak Peek. And then also Stephen would see that his dad is in a burnt grocery store, it would take place. It would start off at the Birdwell Island school, and it would spread all over, like probably the dot ID from 1999, because there's a lot of running when a fire happens. And baby Cosmo would appear. Oh, and how would you like baby Cosmo to also appear in Happy Birthday, Stephen as well, in addition to Jetta? Well, yes, they do. And they also will have to evacuate Clifford's doghouse before it catches fire. And then they build an even bigger doghouse that is fireproof for Clifford. Yes, he would. And let's say that Jeffy was the one let's just say that Thomas was the one that starts the fire. And what did you think of the person? Well, he would be seen smoking a flammable, cigarette, which causes it to go on fire. Not only is Thomas a bad dog, but also an unhealthy one. But the smoking would not be shown in that episode because of it being a kid's show. Yeah. It's called the Birdwell Island Fire. Hey, and did you happen to see the link of a very, very young Calf Sousey? Hey, HuskyDog88, I even found one with Earl Bone, even. The one who did Mr. Bleakman. Right here. What do you think, HuskyDog88? This is what Earl Bone would actually look like when I sent you the link to that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air Will's Princeton interview. Earl Bone, he is 80 years old. Believe he voiced Mr. Bleakman at the age of 59. And what did you think of the idea of Jetta appearing in 6 season 3 episodes, but being snobby in only 2 season 3 episodes, which are The Missing Key and Jeffy's Sleepover? And then in season 4, she stopped being snobby altogether. Here, let's see if I can do a Mr. Bleakman impression. Clifford! What did you do? Clifford! Get out of my backyard! Yeah. And how would you like season 4 to be the first season where Jetta remains positive altogether and is not snobby in one single episode in season 4? What were your thoughts on that Mr. Bleakman impression that I did? HuskyDog88. You scared my bird away! You and all your dog friends are ruining this park for all bird-loving humans, and I won't stand for it anymore! What were your thoughts on my Mr. Bleakman impression compared to Earl Bones? Get out of my yard, Clifford. Get out of my yard, Clifford. You are no longer allowed in my yard. And if I ever catch you again, I will call the pound. Understand, Clifford? But what were your thoughts on this Mr. Bleakman impression, on the other hand, compared to the one where it sounded more like Marge? What tone was it like for the second time around for my Mr. Bleak? Violet! Oh, look at my poor yard! Violet! Clifford, how could you? Well, he did in Clifford Remembers Mr. Bleakman, but there would be some episodes that aired after it that still would have Mr. Bleakman, which would take place before that happened. And you know who would be the saddest out of all the characters in Clifford Remembers Mr. Bleakman? Sure, Emily, Elizabeth, and Charlie are sad, but you know who would be the saddest in that episode? The big red dog himself. Well, because he remembered getting yelled at by Mr. Bleakman, which he didn't like, but he still thinks that Mr. Bleakman was a part of Clifford's neighborhood and would still miss him. And what did you think of, that? How would you like, Emily Elizabeth to cry in a few other season 3 episodes besides Goodbye Jetta, like in The Stolen Sandwich and in Clifford's Thanksgiving Feast? And what did you think of season 3 being, that first season where Clifford actually talks and then tells Emily Elizabeth a secret in Goodbye Jetta? Well, when Emily Elizabeth cries in Clifford's Thanksgiving Feast, it's because Thomas steals Emily Elizabeth's turkey that her mom prepared for her. But what did you think of Emily Elizabeth crying in the episode The Stolen Sandwich, since that episode mostly focuses on Emily Elizabeth and her peanut butter and jelly sandwich being stolen? What did you think of the secret that Clifford gave Emily Elizabeth? And he talks to him and tells him that the reason why Clifford only barked at the humans along with the other dogs, the reason why that Clifford and the other dogs barked at the humans in the past was because Because if they talked to humans in the past, that the humans would scream and run away from them and not love them anymore. So he was afraid to speak to them in the past, but is more confident in speaking to them now. What did you think of that reason for Clifford's secret? And this would also be the first time where the dogs laugh with people, too, instead of just barking while the humans were laughing. And there would... And how would you like, concert day at Birdwell Island to have Mary singing the song Dreams Can Come True like she previously did in Stage Struck, except Mary does not get scared the second time she sings it in Concert Day at Birdwell Island, whereas in Stage Struck, she sang it despite her stage fright. Whereas in Concert Day at Birdwell Island, she overcame her stage fright and doesn't have stage fright when she sings it because she's more confident in singing it. And then after that song, Clifford begins sobbing tears of joy and like, this song brings me back to when Courtney Amber came to Birdwell Island. In HuskyDog88, how would you like the clip, the audio clip of Becky crying from that film from 1979 to later be used by Jetta in the episode Steven's Phone Call when Jetta is having surgery off screen? Notice that because her voice is heard, but not her physical appearance. That would be cool. What were your thoughts on the season 1 episode, the big sleepover from season 1, when Clifford really missed Emily Elizabeth, that he nearly burst into tears and howling uncontrollably? I thought that idea was great, Jeremy Barton. I have an idea for the plot of the episode Steven Gets Lost. You want to know what the plot is? Steven is really hoping to give something to Jetta for her birthday, even though Jetta is not shown in that episode, but he eventually gets lost while trying to find something for Jetta on her birthday. And in fact, he gets so lost, he just begins crying, kind of like when Arthur did it in the episode Lost. And then Steven's dad gets really depressed and worried about Steven, and he actually cries the hardest, using the same audio of I'd say the Birdwell Island Scouts, since it's mostly about girls, mostly the .id. I believe Steven gets lost. It would use the fishbowl ID because in one scene of the episode, Steven is looking at a fish tank. Well, I know Clifford wasn't exactly crying, but I said he was in the verge of tears. Though. And also HuskyDog88, what did you think of the plot for Steven Gets Lost, and what did you think happened in there? Even though Jetta is not shown, Steven tries to give something for Jetta on her birthday since it's coming up. Yeah. Even grumpy Mr. Bleakman seemed to care about him in that episode. And how would you like this to be a change? Whereas compared to the big sleepover when Clifford says, I miss Emily Elizabeth. Why not have Clifford remembers Mr. Bleakman, have Clifford go, I miss Mr. Bleakman. That everything will be alright, yeah. Because Clifford thinks Mr. Bleakman was like a neighborhood to him. Even though Mr. Bleakman yelled at Clifford a lot, he still thinks that Mr. Bleakman was like a neighbor to him. Definitely Snow Globe, Nate's Media Corner 2006. What if there was a season 3 episode where Emily missed Clifford because, which is the episode Best Dog Ever. And Best Dog Ever would be the episode where Emily misses Clifford. And let's say that she thought Clifford got lost in Best Dog Ever, when really Clifford was having a sleepover with Charlie and stuff. What did you think of that idea for the episode Best Dog Ever, which was like the flip side? And how would you like when Clifford comes back, Emily, Elizabeth, and Clifford both start crying and hugging each other because they've missed each other, and it's like, please, you had me worried there, Clifford. And then Clifford is like, nah. Worried? Nah, I was just having a sleepover. You think I was lost? No, I was just having a sleepover. So what is different about the Best Dog Ever compared to the Big Sleepover? And some similarities and differences. What if they were in Clifford the Hero, Clifford has to go to the hospital to save traumatic, injuries or events that happen to some of his friends, like, Jeffy, T-Bone, and Cleo, especially, and Chloe. Well, for completely different reasons. Let's say that T-Bone had clogged arteries from eating too many chocolate bars, causing them to have chest pain, and then Cleo could have gotten a really, really bad head injury, which the blood would not be shown in that. And Jeffy would have asthma. Yeah. And then Chloe would get stuck in the tree, and Chloe would burst out crying. Well, serves him right for T-Bone having chest pain from eating that chocolate. Serves them right. Right, Husky? Let's say he gets chest pain from eating too many T-Bone steaks, and he, collapses, and then Clifford takes T-Bone to the hospital, where Dr. Din treats them, even though she has no dialogue. And what about Cleo's hospital visit or vet visit, on the other hand, compared to T-Bone's? Like, for different reasons and stuff. With, Jeffy having asthma and something. Luckily, Chloe being stuck in the tree is not a medical emergency, and Clifford safely helps get Chloe down. With Cleo getting a bad head injury, and T-Bone having chest pain with clogged arteries from eating too many T-Bone steaks. Oh. Well, she was playing ball with Clifford, the basketball, the head severely, and it knocks Cleo unconscious. And then she gets taken to the hospital, and Clifford puts ice on it to reduce the swelling in the head. And what was T-Bone's situation, HuskyDog88? Yes! Yes, it does. And what did you think of Cleo, T-Bone, and Jeffy being in the hospital for different reasons in Clifford the Hero? And what do you think happens to each of the dogs now that I told you about it, and why they were in the hospital for? Yeah! What about T-Bone, on the other hand, and Cleo? We already mentioned Cleo's injury or something. Yeah, actually, yeah. T-Bone already knows that he's overweight, but he gets in the hospital when he gets severe chest pain. How would you like that idea? He already knew he was fat, but he went to the hospital when he got severe chest pain caused by T-Bone's clogged arteries, caused by him being overweight. And then T-Bone gets diagnosed with heart disease because of that. How would you like that? and and how would you like some of the scenes of T-Bone from Clifford the Hero to kind of be based off of this scene from Degrassi, which also featured Lyle O'Donoghue, aka the Brain, from seasons 13 to 12 to 15 of Arthur. And Lyle O'Donoghue would play Tristan in a character on Degrassi. That's what Tristan is. He like drops down to the floor at the end of the scene. How would you like T-Bone to do the same thing in Clifford the Hero after eating too much T-Bone steaks? And what? How would you like when T-Bone has that? He says, "Oh my gosh, Clifford, please, help me! I can't breathe. Oh, my chest hurts." Well, that might not have been the best T-Bone voice, but it was like just an example of what he would say in that episode. Yeah. And then, how would you like Clifford to be like, oh my gosh, we gotta get T-Bone to the vet right now? Kind of like when Clifford was really panicked in Tie-Dye Clifford using that same, oh my gosh, tone. And then Clifford is like, what am I going to do? And then Emily is like, there's only one thing to do, Clifford. Get T-Bone to the vet fast. What would work in that scene, HuskyDog88? And what would T-Bone say when he had that, like, thing? Yeah. Yeah, everything I just said would work. And what did you think of T-Bone's reaction when he had it? Like, when he's like, Clifford, I can't breathe! And T-Bone would also say, my chest hurts! After saying those lines, before saying, Clifford, help! And then Clifford would be like, oh my gosh, what happened? And what did you think of Emily Elizabeth's advice to Clifford when she saw that T-Bone was suffering from that thing? Well, I could imagine Thomas having a reaction. Thomas would be like, oh yes, prepare to suffer, T-Bone. Yeah. That would work too. what did you think of the dialogue I used for Thomas's reaction to T-Bone's emergency? Yes, it was Thomas who made T-Bone sick from all those things. Yeah, and Thomas would actually laugh hysterically at T-Bone's suffering, you know. And I'm just laughing because I create scenes with my imagination, though. What were your thoughts on Thomas's, you know, on Thomas's reaction to seeing? Sure. Yeah, that would work. And why not have Clifford severely chew Thomas out for that? What do you mean, like, pulls a Homer Simpson on him? He would severely chew Thomas out for that. He would be like, Thomas, the green Labrador dog, get here right now. Yeah, he would get introduced in season 3. And why not have, Clifford to, have that, strict tone of voice, like, one more act like that and you're getting kicked out of Birdwell Island. Kind of like when Mr. Krabs fires SpongeBob with that tone of voice. How would you like that as well, in addition to the Homer Simpson? Thomas's owner would be Miss Carrington, the teacher. How would you like that? What did you think of Miss Carrington being Thomas's owner? And how would you like Miss Carrington to get really upset at Thomas in the stolen sandwich that he says the next time Miss Carrington catches Thomas in the act, she's going to put Thomas outside to stare at the window all day while Miss Carrington is teaching class. And what did you think of that idea for Miss Carrington severely chewing off Thomas in the stolen sandwich? They're like, what you did made Emily Elizabeth upset, and she had nothing to eat but apples all day. The next time I catch you in the act, Thomas, you're kicked out of the classroom, and you're gonna have to stare at the window all day while I teach class. Do you understand? And what did you think of Jason Mikas, who voiced Zack the Green Dragon? Well, lovely Parasite, I got an Alexa for Christmas. Hi, Alexa. Like Thomas to have that same tone of rough, raspy voice in there, just like when she did Zack, like Wheezy, like prepare to suffer, T-Bone. And then Miss Carrington would come over and say, Thomas Zachary Carrington? Thomas Zachary Carrington, the next time I catch you in the act, I'm gonna let you stare at the window all day while I teach class. What did you think of Miss Carrington punishing Thomas by just kicking Thomas out of the classroom and letting Thomas stare at the window all day while Miss Carrington teaches? And how would you like Thomas to be, kind of like that, the dog version of Lola Loud? When he doesn't get what he wants, he throws a tantrum about it and begins screaming and crying hysterically. All right. And what do you think Miss Carrington would say after she found out that her dog Thomas was the one that took Emily Elizabeth's sandwich in the first place? Actually, you know what? Why not have him be like the dog version of Squidward Tentacles? Because he's very mean, very grumpy, and he's like, get out! Because sometimes Squidward, how would you like him to be like a crossover of Squidward and Caillou when he throws tantrums? And how would you like How would you like one episode where Thomas and Mr. Bleakman have an argument? And then Horace, and then Violet, and then Violet would, would actually punish Horace for the first time, just like it's like, Horace Blakeman, what is it that I heard about you and Thomas arguing? And this would be like the first time where Mrs. Blakeman loses her cool when she hears Mr. Blakeman and Thomas arguing. What about Just Like on the Flintstones? Is it because of Mr. Bleakman and Thomas the dog arguing, or Mr. Bleakman or Mrs. Bleakman punishing Mr. Bleakman? Or both? Oh. And what did you think of that idea where Mr. Bleakman and Thomas have an argument in one season 3 episode called The Feud? It's about time Mrs. Bleakman punishes Mr. Bleakman for his anger. And this would focus on and how would you like one scene of that episode where after Clifford calmly disciplines Thomas, Mr. Bleakman yells at Clifford because he wants and how would you like in one scene of the feud after Clifford calmly tells Thomas that if he doesn't stop his behavior, punishment will be arranged. And then Mr. Bleakman yells at Clifford, telling Clifford to stay out of this or I'm going to punish you and take you to the pound, Clifford. And then Clifford bursts out crying. And then he's like, I was only trying to help Thomas learn a lesson. And what did you think of that scene idea in the feud where after Clifford calmly disciplines Thomas, then Mr. Bleakman yells at Clifford and tells Clifford to stay out of this or else he's going to punish Clifford and take him to the pound? And what do you think will happen in the episode Jiffy's Sleepover when Steven shows the video of times she's been meaning Jetta? What made that idea very great about it, HuskyDog88? Well, maybe she calls the police on Mr. Blakeman and has Mr. Blakeman arrested. How would you like that, Jeremy Barton? For that, HuskyDog88, of Mr. Blakeman, Mrs. Blakeman calling the cops on Mr. Blakeman to take Mr. Blakeman to jail because of all that, yelling and stuff. What do you mean by that, HuskyDog88? And what made you think that idea was great? For the episode The Feud, HuskyDog88. And what were your thoughts on the opening and closing to the VHS of Clifford Goes Old School, as far as the previews and logos and stuff? What did you think of a preview for the John Ritter series from 2000 to appear before the 1964 series starts on Clifford Goes Old School? Mr. Blakeman's punishment would be going to jail. That's what it would be, Jeremy Barton. I'll look at the inquest for let's imagine. All right. Says oh, the Feud uses dot transformation because let's imagine that horse that Mr. Blakeman almost gets eaten by a tiger, albeit off screen. And what did you think of Mr. Blakeman's punishment being going to jail, HuskyDog88? How would you like... Well... kind of like in SpongeBob when Squidward got attacked by a sea bear. Let's just imagine that it was just an invisible tiger that just roared. And it thought that he has a dream where he imagines it. That would work. And what was Steven saying right after Jetta rudely said, "Stop it!" in Jeffy's sleepover after Jeffy licked Jetta? Except it would be like... All right. How would you like, Jiffy's sleepover to be an episode where a big snowstorm comes to Birdwell Island, and so they have to get out of Birdwell Island to go to Sunfun Island to visit Jetta before it's impossible to go. So they have to get out there as fast as they can before it really starts snowing and becoming blizzardy. And in there, Jeffy has a sleepover at Jetta's new house. And after Jeffy licks Jetta, Jetta would go, "Stop it!" And then Steven would say, "No, you stop it, Jetta. You stop with that attitude of yours." And then Jetta is like, "Huh?" And then Steven is like, "Sure, I yelled at Clifford once for breaking the stage, but I'm not as snobby as you are, Jetta. Luckily, I have video footage to show you of all the flashbacks of how mean you were, Jetta. Because of your behavior, if your actions have major consequences, Jetta. If I ever hear you having a bad attitude again, I am calling my aunt, who is also Jetta's mom, by the way, and tell her to ground you, Jetta. So from now on, I want you to get along and be nice to not only Emily Elizabeth and her friends, but also the dogs. What did you think of that idea for Jeffy's sleepover? And then there will be a few episodes to take place after Jetta's sleepover where her personality completely changes and she becomes much kinder. You know, like in Happy Birthday, Stephen, in which this is the first time Happy Birthday, Stephen will be the first episode produced after Jeffy's sleepover, and then in Happy Birthday, Stephen, she never gets snobby again. She gets way more kind. She carefully trains Mac, since Mac appears in that episode. And this time, Jetta would carefully train Mac, like how much Emily would train Clifford. What idea did you like about it, HuskyDog88? Sure. Well, if it was driven, it would take 3 hours. So they'd take an airplane, which takes 5 minutes. How would you like that idea, HuskyDog88, for them taking an airplane for the quickest way to get there? And then beginning in season 4, Jetta would return to Birdwell Island, but she would always be in a positive attitude in all season 4 episodes with her. How would you like that for season 4? And HuskyDog88, did you know that Jetta's voice kind of sounded like a 9-year-old version of Lil DeVille? Because Lil DeVille kind of sounded like a 2-year-old, 3-year-old version of Jetta. Because of the way Lil DeVille and Jetta sound very similar to one another in Rugrats and Clifford, respectively. And how would you like Baby Cosmo to also appear in Happy Birthday, Stephen? And that would be the first time where Stephen meets Baby Cosmo. Lil DeVille is a character on Rugrats. No, I'm talking about baby Cosmo from the episodes Baby Makes 4, A Job Well Read, and Lights Out. They are exactly the same age. Actually, Steven would be 1 year older than Jetta. Yeah, I'm talking about the baby Cosmo in Baby Makes 4, A Job Well Read, and Lights Out. How would you like him to appear in this in Happy Birthday Steven as well? And what did you think of that episode being the first time Steven meets baby Cosmo? In other words, Cosmo would be Steven's baby cousin, just like Jetta would be Steven's baby brother. Cosmo would talk in that episode, just like in A Job Well Read and Lights Out. And how would you like one scene in Happy Birthday Steven where baby Cosmo cries, not because he wants silly fairy tales, but because he learned that silly fairy tales has been taken off of the air. And then as a result, Jetta and Steven quarantine themselves with Mac and Jeffy, respectively. And then Steven would be like, don't you hate it when you hear your baby cousin cry? Don't you hate it when you hear baby Cosmo cry? And then Jetta was like, yeah, the crying is like, drives me nuts. What if there was an Arthur episode that dealt with something like that again, except this time Buster gets upset when Dark Bunny gets canceled, or Bionic Bunny gets canceled. And then Arthur is like, I know it's canceled, but at least you still have Bionic Bunny DVDs to watch. And then Arthur would, set a position to bring Bionic Bunny back to make Buster feel happy again. What do you think of that idea? Where Buster is upset, but Arthur comforts him? Now, what would be different about that episode versus the last of Mary Moo Cow? And what did you think of the idea of Jetta and Steven quarantining themselves and hanging out with Mac while baby Well, baby Cosmo is crying about silly fairy tales being cancelled. Yeah. I already heard it many times, and and then Steven would be like, come on, Jetta, let's get out of here before baby Cosmo really starts getting upset. And then he and Jetta isolate themselves to just hang out with Mac and Jeffy until Cosmo stops crying. Oh, and get this. How would you like one of Steven's presents in Happy Birthday Steven to actually be this DVD that Steven actually holds? This is one of the few times where an animated Clifford character holds out a DVD like this. Except with a parody of the FHE Kids logo on the spine and the back cover, with Clifford in the FHE Kids logo instead of the real dog. So what do you mean, like, holy product placement, HuskyDog88? I will be asleep. And then how would you like Clifford's to say, here, Steven, me and Emily got a present for you. And then Clifford is like, it's a DVD where I celebrate my birthday. I gave this to you because this video was no longer in stores at the time. What did you think of Clifford's dialogue in Happy Birthday, Steven? And how would you like Steven's phone call to be the second, to be like another episode where Jetta cries, but this time because she is afraid of having surgery? the sounds of Becca, played by Cav Soucy. How would you like the sounds of Becca crying with Becca 79 to later be reused by Jetta in Steven's phone call? You know, that sound of Becca crying to later be used by Jetta as she is afraid of as she is in pain from the surgery or something? Do you think that would make sense, you know, when Jetta has to go for something painful, kind of like when Becca had to get for something painful in the film? What would you like? And this time, Jetta screams, but not because she's in a bad attitude or anything, but because she is expressing her feelings about the surgery. Now, that would be different. How would you like Mac to keep Jetta company while Jetta is going through that pain from the surgery in the episode Steven's phone call? Even though Jetta is not seen, her voice is heard as she's talking to Jetta on the phone. And then Steven tells Jetta not to worry because everything is going to be fine. Hopefully, Jetta will recover really quickly as she can. And also, I know the FHE Kids music sounded whimsical, but what made the music in the FHE Kids logo sounding very whimsical? Did you like, you know, that pizzicato violins in it with the flutes? And how would you like this barking sound effect to later be used by Jeffy, in season 3 of Clifford as well. That same FHE Kids dog barking sound effect to be used by Jeffy beginning in season 3 when he first appears. An orange husky. An orange Siberian husky. Oh. Well, what dog would make more sense for that type of bark anyway, then? I found one. Now, which dog in Clifford would you think be more suitable for the FHE Kids dog barking sound effect? Why not have, one of the characters, like Gordon, being a Jack Russell Terrier mix. Oh, well, maybe we could, have one character, being a Jack Russell Terrier mix, with that dog's name being Brian, not to be confused, and not the. Actually, you know what? Maybe a different name. You know, what about a dog named what about Donald Dog being a Jack Russell Terrier mix? He would appear mostly as a guest character in a few season 3 episodes, but not really. Yeah, Gordon is a Labrador, though. And he would be voiced by none other than uh Donald Dog. What about Doug Dog? What about Doug Dog? He would be voiced by Burt Reynolds. Yeah. And how would you like Doug to be a dog with a southern accent, kind of like Sandy the Squirrel from SpongeBob? And why not have Doug's owner be voiced by Carolyn Lawrence, who did Sandy Cheeks, as the owner is also from Texas? And oh, what was that smile emoji for? And Doug's owner's name would be Patricia. Yeah. And how would you like Doug to get into some sort of mischief, but not as mischievous as Thomas, but more mild mischief? Kind of like when Clifford was a bit mischievous in Special Delivery. And what did you think of Burt Reynolds voicing Doug? And how would you like the FHE Kids dog bark sound effect to later be used by Doug, beginning in a few Season 3 episodes of Clifford the Big Red Dog? Since that dog kind of looked like a Jack Russell Terrier mix. Yeah. In my opinion, Mrs. Diller should have given Cleo a more severe punishment, while Emily gave Clifford only a mild one. Which is not really no treats. But, happen to get a new thing after. What if there was an episode that took place after the episode Special Delivery? For Season 3. Called The Runaway Ball, where actually, you know what? Where Emily Elizabeth's ball runs off. And Clifford has to go catch it before it gets stolen. Do you think Cleo could have gotten a more severe punishment by Mrs. Diller in Special Delivery? Like, Cleo, you made Clifford do this? That is a bad girl. Come inside right now. And did it make sense for Emily Elizabeth to cry in the episode The Stolen Sandwich after Mrs. Carrington's dog, Thomas, took it without asking? Yeah. What if there was a what if there was an episode similar to that of season 1's special delivery, but it's a season 3 episode this time, and it's called let's see, I'll look at the list. All right. Why not have the lunch menu be the episode that takes place after special delivery, where Thomas takes somebody else's food order without asking, but on purpose. And that lunch menu would have to be Charlie's order. So Thomas would steal Charlie's food in the lunch menu. And then Miss Carrington would rush in and would be like, Thomas, get back here right now. He would be like, Thomas Zachary Carrington. Did you take Charlie's food? Well, guess what, buddy? You are not going to be in. And then let's say that Mrs. Carrington sets up a punishment for Thomas, saying that if Thomas steals food again, she is going to take Thomas to the pound where all the bad dogs go, and she's not joking. He would be like, Thomas, you want to get arrested in the pound? And you better learn not to steal. It was called Tweety Pie. Tweety with an IE instead of a Y. I thought of a few more season 1 episodes of the 1964 Clifford series would be called Clifford's Gift of Music. That would be the last episode of season 1, and the last episode with B. Benedict voicing Emily Elizabeth. It would air in February 1965. Season 4 would be from 1964 to 65. Oh. And how would you like Thomas to actually be punished and stared at the window all day in the episode Clifford the Kind. From season 3. Oh. Almost.
Okay. Just try to keep it low a little bit, okay? Because I'm taking this.
All right.
I love you.
Clifford the Kind would use the fishbowl logo because in one scene, Mary's the water in Mary's fishbowl accidentally spills, and then Clifford Clifford the Kind is the episode where Clifford does things on Respect Birdwell Island Day. And in one scene, the water in Mary's fishbowl for her pet fish accidentally spills all the water, and then Clifford goes into the lake to pour in some new water for the fish. And another scene is when Thomas when Clifford punishes Thomas for, for stealing a T-Bone's dog food, and then Clifford gives the dog food back to T-Bone. Yeah. And how would you like the episode Wish for a Fish, at the very beginning of the episode, to have Mary feeling a little bit sad because she wishes she had a pet, but she doesn't, until her mom, which is named Clarissa, being voiced by Cree Summer. So, in Wish for a Fish, Mary is sad because she doesn't have a pet. So Clarissa, her mom, voiced by Cree Summer, would offer a trip to the pet store for Mary, and she gets a goldfish named Bishop. And how would you like... All right. So we're going to have Bishop being voiced by Kel Mitchell. How would you like Bishop being voiced by Kel Mitchell, which is the same guy who voiced T-Bone? What would be different about the episode Best Dog Ever when Emily misses Clifford compared to the big sleepover when Clifford misses Emily? Well, he doesn't actually speak until until episode 30 until episode 33, which is Use Your Imagination. So Bishop would be silent until episode 33, which is Use Your Imagination. Because what if there was one episode where the roles of Cleo and Mary were switched around in one episode? Which was, yeah, like on some Freaky Friday type thing. And there would be one season 3 episode where Cree Summer would voice Mary rather than Kath Soucie, and one episode where Kath Soucie would voice Cleo rather than Cree Summer. And that would be in the episode Use Your Imagination. And Use Your Imagination would be the only episode where Cree Summer would voice Mary while Kath Soucie would be Cleo. And what were your thoughts on the episode The Feud where Mr. Bleakman threatened Clifford to stay out of the conversation, even after Clifford calmly told Thomas to stop it with the behavior? because Mr. Bleakman threatened Clifford to take him to the pound even after Clifford told Thomas that if he didn't stop with the behavior, he would give him a timeout in the doghouse. And then Clifford would start crying, and he was like, I was only trying to help Thomas learn his lesson. What was pretty mean of Mr. Bleakman? What was pretty mean of Mr. Bleakman in the feud? Clifford Kevin Howard, stay out of this or I'm taking you to the pound. Yeah, it was pretty mean of Mr. Bleakman. But what was pretty mean of Mr. Bleakman in the episode The Feud, even after Clifford was trying to teach Thomas a lesson? And then how would you like Mrs. Bleakman to say, Horace Barry Bleakman, you stop this behavior right now, or else I'm going to call the police to arrest you, Horace. What did you think of Mrs. Bleakman stepping in saying, Horace Barry Bleakman, after Mr. Bleakman was like, Clifford Kevin Howard, you stay out of this or I'm taking you to the pound. So let's imagine a scene. What would you think Thomas would say before Clifford teaches Thomas a lesson? And then and then Mr. Bleakman threatens Clifford, even though Clifford taught Thomas a lesson very calmly. What did you think of Horace's middle name to be Barry? You know, B-A-R-R-Y. Horace Barry Bleakman. Or what about the epic fail tune from season 3 of Clifford? That would have been better when Mr. Bleakman plays where What do you think Mrs. Bleakman would say after Mr. Bleakman told Clifford that if he doesn't stay out of this, he would threaten Clifford to take him to the pound? And then Clifford begins crying and it's like, I'm sorry, Mr. Bleakman, I'm only trying to help Thomas learn a lesson. And then what if Mr. Bleakman yelled, Emily Dot Burrows, or Emily Elizabeth Howard. You stay out of this too, or I'm taking you to jail. So what do you think happens in the feud now that I told you the plot about it? Including that one scene in particular. Or Emily Elizabeth Howard. And what if Steven was involved in the episode, the feud, and he was like, you don't want to end up like like Jetta, do you? Now, HuskyDog88, what are you planning to do next week? Well, and how would you like Clifford to stand up to Mr. Bleakman at the end of the episode? And it's like, listen, listen, Horace Barrett Bleakman. If you ever yell at me again, I will never speak to you again. You got that? Thank you. What did you think of Clifford standing up to Mr. Bleakman at the very end of the episode? And what do you mean acting like a Karen? What do you mean acting like a Karen? What did you think of the idea at the end of the episode where Clifford stands up to Mr. Bleakman and tells Mr. Bleakman that if Mr. Bleakman yells at Clifford again, Clifford would never speak to Mr. Bleakman again? And then, how would you like... Yeah, and also... It's kind of like when Mr. Krabs grabs Squidward about the attitude. And how would you like Clifford to say, that attitude of yours, Mr. Bleakman, has got to stop. Otherwise, I'm not going to speak to you again, and I'm going to take you to jail. You got that? Let's say that Clifford says all of your what do you think would happen before Clifford disciplines Thomas in the feud? And how would you like the feud to have one flashback with Jetta accusing Emily Elizabeth from To Catch a Bird, and a few clips from Babysitter Blues, The Trouble with Kittens, and stuff like that. Even though Jetta wasn't involved in the feud, there would be one clip that would also be used later in Jeffy's Sleepover. Let's imagine that flashback playing is like, you don't want to end up like Jetta, do you? Well, I'll see you tomorrow to do an early New Year Q&A. Until then, I'll talk to you soon.